Welcome back, chat. Hope you guys are having a good day. Today we're going to be talking about a game called Projekt Z Beyond Order that I am super stoked for. I say Projekt Z because if we look over here, it's developed by 314 Arts, which is a young and new indie development studio based in Germany. And it's published by Modus Games, which Modus Games is a leading indie publisher that focuses on providing AAA publishing services to talented independent developers across the globe. It is the publishing arm of Maximum Games, which you might have heard of. Maximum Games is an American video game publisher. And if we scroll down here, we see that Modus Games was created in 2017, which focuses on providing full-service publishing to independent video game developers. So if you may be familiar with Maximum Games, come over to the Steam page here, we can see that they created Squirrel with a Gun, which I played recently. Highly disappointing that they added some Pride DLC. As you may know, I'm a Christian, and pride is a sin. Like, I have nothing against gay people at all, but pandering to a very small percentage of people is it ain't it. And you can't spell Pride Month without demon. There's no coincidence there. But otherwise, very fun game. I had a blast playing it. You can find that video on my channel. I did a few streams, platinumed it, had a blast. But, yeah, this Projekt Z game looks very, very interesting. We're going to watch a video on that in a minute here. But first, I'm going to add it to my wish list. Even though I'm going to get it on PlayStation, we're also going to add it to my wish list on PlayStation, which it's going to ask me to sign in, so we're not going to do that right now. But why don't we get right into the game itself. I like this website, how it pops up like this. You can go back and forth with that. Now let's check out one of the trailers. We'll start with the PlayStation trailer. And of course, it's at the end. Unity. Game looks phenomenal. This is basically a COD Zombies survival base builder, craftable items, customizable weapons, and much more that you'll see soon when I go through the devlog here in a minute. So yeah, that looks amazing, but if that wasn't enough, if we head over here to their YouTube channel, check out this devlog number 7. This is the one that I originally saw that really got me excited about the game. Shout out to King's Advisors over there. Let's see.
Hello survivors and welcome to devlog 7 of Projekt Z Beyond Order. Let me start by wishing you all a happy new year in the name of the entire dev team.
This video is a year old, by the way.
We cannot wait to get closer to release and show you what we are cooking. We obviously still have a lot of things we cannot talk about, but we will surprise you whenever the time comes.
However, before we start, let me remind you again of our Discord server, which you can find in the
please
description
join their
below,
Discord server.
where we let you be a part of the development by sending you surveys or showing you super work in progress footage.
I'm actually signed up for a It's not really a beta test. It's like even more beta than a beta test. But let's listen to what he has
Last
to say
devlog,
about
we
the
completely
looting.
overhauled how the looting works in our game, but now we can go further into detail. Every item category has its own crate model, which is designed to show the player exactly which items he can expect. For example, in weapon crates the player can only find weapons, in health crates the player can only find health items, and so on. Project Z Beyond Order offers 6 different crate types:
It's neat that
health
they
crates, ammo crates,
separated them
building
like that.
material crates, weapon crates, blueprint crates, and regular item crates. All of those crates besides the regular item crates come in 4 different rarity states: common, uncommon, rare, and legendary. Those different rarity states can contain better loot, like an uncommon drum mech which can hold more bullets than the standard mech but has a higher chance of jamming.
Hmm.
We choose this looting style to clearly show the player
is
what he can
interesting.
interact with on a map when
Just
it
the
comes.
fact that the weapons can jam in the game, it adds an extra level of to like the survival aspect of it, which I find very cool because you don't see that often in video games where the guns will actually jam depending on their rarity too. So if you have an uncommon gun, more likely to jam than you'd say a legendary, which would be
To looting.
cool to
The
see how that
placement of those
works.
crates is of course random. Since we went back to pre-production in August 2023, we also had to take a look at the health system and rework it. The way
Graphics
it works
look great.
now is that when the player takes damage he will lose HP, but there is also a chance of getting 4 different status effects: break, wound, burn, or toxic.
Huh.
Those effects will have an impact on the player's gameplay for as long as the player has them. However, the player can get rid of
I really like that. I like the fact that they have status effects. This really the survival aspect to this game sounds like it's going to be really insane.
them by finding the right health item. For example, the player needs to use a splint to get rid of the break status. Status effects will also reduce the maximum HP the player can heal up to for as long as the player has the status effect applied to his character. That means, for example, the base HP is 100%.
Whereas the base HP is 100%, and then whenever you get a status effect, it drops, and they can actually stack, which is crazy.
If the player now takes damage and gets the break status effect, he will get all the disadvantages like the slower walk speed and a different walk animation. And he can only heal up to 90% for the time the break status effect is active.
Wow.
That means the break status effect will drag down the base HP by 10%. However, having all status effects active at the same time is also possible, so the base HP can get even
it's not
lower
gonna
if
be good.
multiple status effects are active at the same time. Another thing we haven't got into detail in the last devlog is our backpack system. Since the inventory is now slot based, we also need to adjust that. The player will now start with a basic backpack that can hold up to 50 items. If the player is carrying more than 50 items, he will get another status effect called over encumbered. When this happens, the player will slow down for as long as he has too many items in his inventory or is equipped with a bigger backpack. To avoid getting out of space early on, we decided that every item gets a maximum stack size. For example, weapons cannot be stacked, however any other item can. This feature of course will take a lot of
believe
QA
that
to find the
they
best stack size, but this is already
reworked
a
a little bit
major
of
thing
this
that we are testing
since
internally.
then. We'll have to cover the other devlog in a
We
moment
also
here.
made the decision to redesign the beginning of the game. That means we will no longer start the game with a single player introduction mission for each character as we showed in the past devlogs, but let the player play directly with his friends in a more general co-op tutorial
That's
mission.
awesome.
We found that the separate single player introduction missions didn't work from a game flow perspective, since it took the player 1 hour to reach the co-op part of the game,
Yeesh.
and we just didn't want to cut the time by 80% and create a bad
These guys thought of everything. Like, yeah, co-op straight out of the gate. Obviously much better than a lot of games where you have to play for an hour to get to the co-op.
a play experience by doing that. Every approach definitely has its pros and cons, but since our game is a co-op game, we found it more fitting to let the player experience the co-op part from the get-go. Now everything is just more fitting to the general vision we had for
Excellent
Project Z
idea.
Beyond Order. However, to keep the story parts of those co-op missions, players will still have a different start cutscene depending on the character they are choosing. In the level design
See,
department,
that's really cool. There's different start screens depending on the characters that you choose. Now there's 4 different characters, and as you'll see, each one has a different backstory, uh, different weapons, and different abilities.
We made a lot of progress mission-wise, and when it comes to hiring, we now have 4 level designers actively working on the game to give you guys the best experience we can deliver. First, of course, Mission 1, which we showed in the last devlog, was undergoing many changes in the last few months after we found some level design and logic flaws during internal playtests. Mission 2, 3, 4, 5 and 7 are also currently in development, but we won't show you more than just a few blockout shots,
Yeah,
since
like I said,
we
this is a
still want
year
you guys
old,
to
so
enjoy the
they
game when it's
obviously
coming
have
out.
much
We have a
more
lot of surprises for
completed
you
by now.
there, and I'm sure you will love the designs we created for those missions. Another thing we haven't talked about for a long time is how we tell the story of Projekt Z Beyond Order. Most of the story will be explained via very short cutscenes or our new dialogue system. The dialogue system is almost everywhere in the game when you talk to NPCs, if you go to a shop, or if you want to go into the next mission. The player can always interact with the NPCs in the hideout and have a little
How
chat
good
with
this
them.
looks.
This is
God.
possible due to the fact that our NPCs are created with the character creator 4, since it would be impossible to us to create
Wow.
hundreds of NPCs by an artist. However, Character Creator 4 allows us to use their facial tools to create beautiful facial animations, which are definitely good enough to use in production.
Amazing.
When it comes to the playable characters, we also made some great progress. So as you might know, Projekt Z Beyond Order offers 4 different playable characters at release. In the last devlog we already teased you a little bit with Hans. Hans is a 32-year-old German scientist that worked on a lot of flamethrower variants for the Nazis during and before the war. He is equipped with a flamethrower which is perfect to hold back large amount of zombies at once. He initially fled to the island to escape the war, but when he saw what the Nazis did there, he instantly regretted his decision. Another character we haven't really shown off yet is Curtis. He is a 46-year-old US fighter plane pilot who was sent to the island for a special operation
It's
to find out if
literally
the island
X-Wing.
really exists after the Allies found some documents in Berlin. However, he was completely alone after crash landing on the island. He is equipped with an experimental flare gun that can shoot down, or let's say place some small landmines to block off certain paths for a short amount of time. He is also perfect for players who want to experience Projekt Z alone. So let's sum up every character Projekt Z Beyond Order has to offer at release.
Well, that's another
We
good
have
thing.
Alina,
That
a
it's
uses
not.
our
It's not specifically a. It's not exclusively a multiplayer game. As a matter of fact, I'll show a tweet that they put out today, where they talk about how the games. You don't even have to play the game online. As a matter of fact, they specifically said this game isn't one that you rent. When you buy this game, you own it. You never have to worry about the servers going offline. You can still play it. Now, I don't know if you'll still be able to play multiplayer, even if the servers go offline. I kind of would assume so, but we'll see.
Sniper, who is equipped with a medic gun that can heal other players and herself. We have Gustav, a Danish World War I veteran and fisherman who is equipped with a Madsen machine gun to defend certain positions, and Hans and Curtis, who we just showed off. Those are the characters you guys can expect on release at the end of the year, and don't worry, we will release more in-depth trailers about the characters and their abilities when we get closer to release. Let's show you guys some more progress from the character art department. We are finally done with the new Nazi soldier model that you can see right now. Those soldiers can be found in the Nazi-controlled places like outposts, factories and so on.
I'm also glad that they didn't shy away from focusing on history. They're not afraid to use World War II as a base for this game. Like, these are we're fighting Nazis, and so this is very much a COD Nazi zombies-esque game, but with more of a story and more of a focus on the characters and the enemies.
Soldiers exist in 2 different variants, a normal gunner and one with a flamethrower. We also made a lot of progress on the zombies. The first one we want to show you is PZ02, which we call Fast Grunt internally. Those zombies are super agile, like the
I love how they
requirements
show
are
it
linked in job
decaying.
descriptions, and hard to kill due to their parkour-like actions. The next one is PZF01, created during
Big
Project
boy.
F. This project was created to ensure enough food on the island by modifying the Z virus to let all body parts grow indefinitely.
The amount of detail they put into the backstories for the enemies alone is crazy.
Another one is RZ01. This zombie was a former worker of the Projekt N and suffered a lot of radiation after being infected with the Projekt Z virus. This one might be the most interesting one gameplay wise, but don't worry, we will show you guys more when we get closer to release. And last but not least, we got PZI-01. This is a zombified German Shepherd. This zombie was not a part of any project, but rather an accident.
Huh.
After the breakout, some animals got infected and transformed into zombified versions of themselves.
It's crazy. Oh, it's interesting that he says some animals. Now, it just shows a dog there, but that kind of leaves it open to there could end up being other animals, perhaps.
Enough about
Imagine having to fight a zombie bear or something. Oh my god, that would suck. But it would be so awesome at the same time.
So let's get to the weapons. Since the last devlog, our weapon department has worked on a lot of new guns, like the Becker revolving shotgun that we showed off in the last devlog, which is now in the game, as well as the M1 carbine and the new STG-44, all with their very own attachments.
A lot of these weapons are, if not all of them, I don't know about, probably not all of them, I'm sure some of them are unique, but most of them are based on actual guns that existed in that time period, which is very cool. And the fact that they're all customizable, also very awesome.
All of those attachments are inspired by real-world prototypes from that era. Another weapon we are currently working on is the M3A1, which isn't animated yet. Another thing we want to show you is our vehicle system. Since every map can be played in a free roam mode, which we will show the next time, some maps might require a car to get around. But I want to point out that Projekt Z Beyond Order is not an open world game and that those cars cannot be used on every mission. But when you find them, feel free to get it and get some nice drive-by action with your co-op mates.
So it's not an open world game, but it has like a semi-open world kind of feel to it. It's large enough to where you need vehicles to get around, so that's awesome.
Of course, we also worked on a lot of new music in the last few months, but the highlight for me definitely is the music that will play on the island's own radio channel. Yeah, we created our entirely own radio channel with a moderator, so when the game comes out, don't forget to plan a stop at the radios that are scattered around the island. Let's finish this devlog with some hideout progress we made lately. For new people, the hideout is the place of operation, where the game starts, where the player chooses missions and side missions, where he can build and customize his weapons, skill his character, and manage his NPCs. The first thing we take a look at is the building system, which, like any other feature we showed off today, is under heavy development. As soon as the player has finished the co-op introduction mission and mission 1, he can access the building mode. This building mode allows the player to change the hideout's look completely. After entering the building mode, the player can choose whether to build or remove some objects.
Alright, they did change some of this. I will pull up the other devlog here in a second, because they actually kind of revamped this since they released this.
This far away compared to the others. You can also prepare yourself to see a more in-depth look into the community board, where you can send out NPCs to do search missions for you and the character upgrade share in the next devlog.
So that's cool. So not only do you have unique characters, but not only can you upgrade your weapons, you can also upgrade your characters. That's going to be very interesting to see how that works.
We obviously worked on a lot of other stuff in the past months, but it would definitely be too much for this devlog. I want to say thank you again to everyone who's supporting us during this project, and we're super thankful for all the support from you guys over the last few years. This project is super near and dear to us since it's our first very big project, and our entire team cannot wait to see you guys play at the end of the year. With that being said, thank you so much, and we will hear from each other very, very soon.
Yeah, and actually, if you join their Discord server, they're almost always active in there. You can ask them questions about anything. You can sign up for the I don't know what to call it. It's a test that is I think they're going to be sending them out next week, sometime this month. They're going to be doing the test. But yeah, please go over, sub to their YouTube channel. They're also on X. The thing I was talking about earlier was this they released today. They said, do you think it's a problem that games can no longer be played when developers or publishers decide to shut down their servers? This initiative might interest you. This is the Stop Killing Games movement, which I'll show in a second, but I really wanted to highlight this. Beyond Order does not require you to be logged into a server to play the game. That means the game can be played entirely offline, even when it has no official developer support anymore. You do not rent Projekt Z, you buy it. That is awesome. And if you're wondering what Stop Killing Games is, I'm not going to get too much into it. The consumer movement started to challenge the legality of publishers destroying video games they have sold to customers. So basically, games that you've bought digitally or whatever, the developers decide to shut them off, turn off the servers, and you can no longer play them anymore. This is a petition, and it's only in the EU right now, I believe. This is the EU petition, but wow, it's already got over 1 million signatures because we care about games. I mean, if you buy anything, you should care about owning it, not renting it, you know. So I'm not going to get too much into that. But yeah, go follow them on Twitter, X as it is now. Don't even know why I said Twitter. But yeah, let's check out the other devlog real quick, because they actually made a few more improvements, as you would expect. Flare gun, flamethrower, got a medic, mounted guns.
Hello survivors, long time no see. Welcome to devlog 8 of Projekt Z Beyond
Well,
Order.
not
I
that
know we
long.
have been silent for a long time, but we need to put our heads down to fully focus on making the game.
Yeah, this devlog
And
was
after some
released
internal discussions, we
over
feel
a
like
year
it's the best for the
later,
game
so-
to have some more time for additional polishing. We hope you understand. We just want to release a game that is up to our own standards, and since we are still a very small and new team working on such a huge project, we really need the time.
Yeah,
However-
and I've told them multiple times, don't. I mean, they said it was going to be, what, Q3 of this year they were trying to release it, but obviously they decided that they needed to tweak some stuff, and I've said, you know, just ignore anyone who says, you know, we want the game now. We want the people who really care. We want a game that's finished when it comes out. So I have no problem waiting for this game to come out, as long as it's a complete game on release and not a broken, buggy mess that a lot of games are nowadays.
However, since we don't want you to wait for too long, we will open up our focus test group for a wider
That's what it
audience.
is, focus
You can
test group.
find a link in the description below to apply as a playtester in our closed testing environment. But please keep in mind that those tests will stay under NDA for the time being.
Well, a lot has happened since the last
So I
devlog,
won't be able
and
to
we
talk
wanted to
about
thank
that when I
Maximum
play it.
Entertainment and our fans for putting so much faith into the game. During the last Gamescom, we had the chance to let attendees play Projekt Z Beyond Order at our booth for the first time, and seeing so much positive feedback from you guys really showed us that we have something special here. We also wanted to say thank you to the Indie Arena and Unity for giving us the Best Game Made with Unity award during Gamescom. Alongside that, we even got nominated as Most Anticipated Game from Unity during their 16th Unity Awards event. But now, let me
my
show you
most
what we've been
anticipated
working on
game.
lately. Let's start with
Whenever it
something
comes
big.
out, this
Over
year,
the last
next
few months,
year.
we have made some drastic changes to the game design again to make it more consistent overall. The first thing we touched was the hideout. After much internal playtesting, we felt the building system just didn't fit with the overall design of the game. We also saw
why I
many
skipped
players
it in
of
the
our
last
focus group not even using it, so we removed it and replaced it with a more fitting design. All structures in the hideout now have a reserved spot, meaning that when a player wants to build something, he can choose between those spots and build a shop in one of those building areas
That's fair.
via the construction board. This change alone gave us many opportunities to improve the hideout in other ways, since we were limited by the player's ability to build and dismantle everything. After that change, we focused on redesigning the hideout's visuals and features in some ways, to give everything more life. For instance, every story NPC now has its own section that fits its narrative background. Another instance is the tutorial when joining the hideout for the first time. Since we developers can now build freely in the hideout without thinking about the player dismantling everything, we added a shooting range to the hideout that is not only super helpful for the
This is very
tutorials,
cool.
but also a great testing ground when you want to check out the weapons you just built at the workbench.
See, that's really cool. See, you don't just slap weapon attachments on your guns. You can actually test them out and see if you like the attachments that you've chosen, and then edit them before actually heading out and using them in the world.
Those design changes were definitely necessary, and we already feel way more comfortable with this iteration of the hideout. Some players might be disappointed by that change, but we as developers have to be open to big changes if something just does not work. One of the things we worked on was interaction animations. The problem was that every interaction in the game felt lifeless, so the goal was to make them way more dynamic and let the player feel that he's really interacting with the game world.
That's awesome.
So we added interaction animations for almost every interaction there is.
That's so sick.
Another thing that improved the gameplay and world was the introduction animations for boss enemies, like our Juggernaut. This animation type plays right before the player has to fight a boss, reducing the chance of players not spotting the enemy right away. We also made a lot of changes and improvements to our weapon system. One thing we never talked about was how the jams work in Projekt Z. Explaining the jams is actually pretty simple and goes hand in hand with one of the changes we made last year. Weapons from now on have durability. Don't worry, weapons cannot break completely, so they won't leave your inventory.
Well, that's good.
The lower the weapon's durability, the higher the chance of the weapon jamming. To repair your weapons, you can simply go to the workbench and repair them for a few resources in exchange. Another feature we worked on was weapon upgrading. If you find a weapon and you don't want to change it every time you find a better one, you don't have to. That's why we added weapon upgrading. Every weapon now has 4 tiers. If you go to the workbench, you can upgrade those. After reaching tier 4, the 5th upgrade will upgrade the rarity of the gun. This means you don't have to find rare weapons to get them. You can also just upgrade them until you reach that stage, which can take longer in some cases. Let's move to the weapons. Over the last few months we have worked tirelessly on a bunch of new weapons, such as the Gustav 206, a semi-automatic rifle made largely of sheet metal with a gas piston operating system. Additionally, we have reworked the M1897 along with the Kar 98.
Oh, I love the way that hits. Oh, and the bolt action. I'm gonna be using the shit out of that. I love firing bolt action guns.
And the AS-44, a prototype Soviet assault rifle designed and developed by Alexei Sundayev in 1944 and 1945. We have also added the good old MG42, along with an overheating system that requires changing the barrels if you shoot for too long.
That's crazy.
And last but not least, a new melee weapon, the pipe. It's a pipe. With all of those weapons, we think we have added a great selection to the game's already implemented arsenal. But let us know which weapon you would love to see in the future.
Silent Hill games.
The zombies are another thing we worked on in the past, since they are the focal point of Projekt Z Beyond Order. And we just want to let you know that we have heard your feedback from the last devlog and trailers, that only officers running around as grunts feels just off. So we decided to work on another grunt variant, which is a regular soldier. Our level design team also worked on a lot of improvements in terms of flow, lighting and collision polishing. Here are a few shots of one of the missions that got some complete reworked areas.
Foggy. Oh, that looks nice.
We also barely discussed the characters and abilities, so let's discuss them a bit. First, let me give you a little update on the character intros. We are finally done with all the character introductions that you can see in the background right now. As you probably know, those will play whenever you start a new game with a new character to find out how your character ended up on this island.
Yeah, I love that how each character has a different backstory, has a different
Since Alina is the
intro.
medic of the 4 characters, she's equipped with a medical sniper that can heal other teammates.
See, it's cool that they also have guns that are obviously not real, but serve a great purpose in the survival game, you know?
In addition, she also has the ability to heal herself. However, healing herself gives her one less syringe to shoot via the medic sniper, and she can only heal herself while she has the medic sniper out.
Ah.
Talking about medics, we have also worked on our down stage whenever you reach 0 HP. Another character you can choose from is Gustav.
That's
He is
nice. I didn't
equipped
know
with a
that they had a
stationary medicine machine
downstage.
gun that has a gas canister attached that can release gas to slow down zombies. Another bonus of using the medicine machine gun is that Gustav also has one self heal ready to heal himself.
That's good.
We've also added a cool feature. When Hans shoots the gas with his
Oh, this is
flamethrower,
sick, right?
the gas ignites and Gustav's gas turns into fire.
That's what's up.
The next character is our beloved Hans. Hans has a flamethrower that turns the undead to sweet barbecue. What a surprise. Curtis is the last character in our roster. He is equipped with a flare gun that can place traps to block off some paths. He's perfect for people who
very
prefer
neat.
to play alone.
Oh. That was pretty sick. Hold on a second. Look at that. It's a mine and it shoots out 2 tripwires. That's very unique. So if they're coming from either direction, it'll trigger the mine. That's actually really cool. Oh, looks like there's more than one, or more than 2. Like 3 tripwires. Sick.
We obviously also worked on a lot of music
And
in
it
the
actually
past
knocked him
months.
down.
Take a listen.
Sounds great. I don't think I've seen anything about this game that I dislike so far.
Well, let's wrap up this devlog. Again, I wanted to thank our entire community and partners for putting so much faith into this project, and we really appreciate the excitement you have to play Projekt Z Beyond Order. We cannot wait to see you guys play together with us and kill the undead. With that being said, we will see each other very soon with some more exciting footage of Projekt Z Beyond Order. Auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen. Awesome. So yeah, very, very excited for this game. What else can we look at here? There's some questions, frequently asked questions. Kind of game is it? As you can already have seen by now, it's first-person shooter. Set in World War II. You got the building, you got the crafting, which I don't think they really have gone much into the crafting yet. But let's see, the developers, publisher. Is there a censorship setting? We're discussing an option for censorship setting so that everybody has the opportunity to play it. What other questions do they have? Which platforms? It will be available on all platforms: PC, Steam, Xbox, and PlayStation. So, well, all platforms except the Switch for now. Yeah, see, they were aiming for 2025, which it's still May. We're only halfway through the year, but I won't mind if it comes out even Q3 of next year, as long as this game is fully fleshed out and doesn't need a number of patches after release, you know. You can test it. I told you I signed up for the playtest, which I will hopefully be able to get into, but I won't be able to talk about because I'll be under NDA. Yes, you can play it solo, and you can play it offline, local, online, and shared hideout. Now this is interesting. What type of multiplayer modes does it have? Local, online, and shared hideout. That actually sounds really cool. That sounds almost like a server. Like they said, there's not going to be any servers, but a shared hideout. So maybe either player, you can go into it alone and then invite your friend, and then if you're not online, your friend can go into that same hideout. Unless the shared hideout is just like the hub. But we will see. Cross-platform between all platforms. That's very important. Not open world, but there is pretty big maps from what we've seen with the vehicles. Over 20 weapons, each with a variety of customization options at launch. And this is at launch, so that means they may add more. Every weapon is customizable. The hideout is the central hub in the game world, where you can prepare for your next missions, craft, modify weapons, craft items with teammates, and team up with friends. Okay, so that's good. Build structures. What structures can I build? Let's see. Water purification station that boosts morale of your community. Just to upgrade your you can upgrade certain merchants. That's crazy. Weapon merchants, which gives you access to better arsenal. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. You offer a content creator program. Please contact us via Discord about potential collaboration. That's pretty sick. May actually have to ask them about that. So yeah, this game is going to be insane. I don't know if there's really anything else we can cover here. I just wanted to get the word out about this game because I'm super excited about it, and they've been super awesome in the Discord. Please go wish list the game if you're excited for it. Join the Discord. Follow their YouTube channel. Follow them on X. And let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And I guess that's it for now. Until next time, have a good day, and I will see you later. Peace.